Hey, this is Rick Brandenburg for Turf Bugs and Rock and Roll, and this is the Three Stooges series where we talk about things to think about during this season, and obviously we're transitioned from fall into the winter time, and Fred will talk about things to think about from weed management, and Jim Kearns will talk about things from disease management, but I'm up first, and I want to talk a little bit about insect management. And first, one thing I want to make very obvious, that 98% of the time, if you have a very cold winter or you have a very mild winter, it's really not going to have much impact on the insect populations the following year. So throw those arguments out. And the woolly worm means nothing. It just means how mature the caterpillar is as far as the width of the darker band. So I want to talk about one thing while it's still fresh in our memory. And 2024 was another really, really bad fall armyworm problem. Not as much in cool season as it was in 21, but a problem nonetheless. So 2021 and 2024, we had some real significant fall armyworm problems during the summer and the fall months. No, we're not on a 3-year rotation with this. Conditions were right, and we had infestations 3 years apart. It means nothing for this coming year, the fact that we've had 2 in recent years, because we start all over again with overwintering. But what I want you to do is think about what you had this past year. What if you had fall armyworms, what products did you use? What kind of success did you have? We continue to see, we got more data or circumstantial evidence anyway, that if you've treated for white grubs in the summertime, it reduces your likelihood of having fall armyworm outbreaks. It doesn't eliminate it, but it reduces it. Regardless of the product, and obviously products like Tetrino and Aceleprint have really, really long residual activity. They seem to have the greatest impact when used for grub control on fall armyworms. But we don't have really good data. We just have circumstantial evidence. But the other thing I want you to think about is, did you have fall armyworms and perhaps your neighbor didn't? What were the differences there? Have you had them more consistently? And maybe you should look at a preventive type program rather than a rescue. Did perhaps you not have them and your neighbors did, and what were you doing that prevented other locations nearby from not having? So try to sort through some of that and see what you did right or did wrong. I think we're in a pattern where we're going to see fall armyworms more frequently, making no predictions for 2025, but I just think we're going to see them more frequently than we have, say, 10, 20 years ago. So keep them in mind, review what you had. If you didn't have them, great. If you didn't have them and all your neighbors did you treat for white grubs? What were you doing that perhaps prevented them on your property? So that's the message as we think about going into winter. Insects typically aren't much of a problem, so we're going to kind of review what happened this past year and be ready for 2025. And obviously, once we get into that season, we'll give you some more updates. Next videos will be Fred and Jim with some updates from their particular disciplines. Hope that helps. Look forward to seeing you again soon.